Hello everyone, Zero here for the first ever Zerophobia indie horror game review. And I have a couple questions to ask you before we get started. Do you like a lot of gore? Do you like a lot of guts? Do you like a lot of sex and intense violence? Because the game I'm reviewing today promises all three of those things and possibly more. The game is The Dark Inside Me. It's a point-and-click style horror drama game developed by, and I apologize if I pronounce your name wrong, AK Karasmak with his team Blue Ark Studios? Again, this is an adult-oriented drama horror adventure that promises gore, sex, and violence. So if you're gonna play this game, I'm not here to tell you how to live your lives. I possibly wouldn't tell your parents about it. Looking at the game, the first moment I loaded it up, I have to say the game does look very, very well executed. The environments are very beautiful, and the sound design is spot on, which is something that I feel is lacking in a lot of horror games today. The developer's Patreon puts a lot of emphasis on the soundtrack of the game, and I have to admit it does set a certain dramatic tone. The developer does bill himself as a horror movie director, and that's something that I can definitely see influences the work on this game, as it does have a certain cinematic feel to it. He's very good at piecing together the right music for the right scenes, and I have to say even the ambient noises accompanying the music does tend to send a chill up my spine. My only complaint with the game as far as looks and sounds has to be the actual character models in-game themselves and the character dialogue and the voice acting.
Oh shit. What happened to you? Who are you?
I'm Clementine. Please help me. Save me from here. I don't want to die.
I don't know this for a fact, but it does seem like the developer and his team aren't native English speakers, and that's not the problem. It's the fact that the protagonist of the game is so quiet when he speaks, it's almost an inaudible whisper. I had to turn the sound up a little bit louder than was comfortable so I could hear what he was describing when I was clicking on it. And this being a puzzle-oriented point-and-click adventure game, those need to be clear cues.
Three dancing women. Old birdcage. Old dusty books.
And the character design in and of itself, looking at the screenshots and the mock-ups of the characters, they're very well put together, and there was a lot of thought put behind them. It's just the 3D models of the characters do need some work, but those are two things that I'll hit on later on in the review. For now, let's get to the real meat and potatoes of this review, and let's talk about the actual gameplay and the plot devices, because that's what really drew me to the game. The plot points outlined on the game's Patreon is very vague, and there's not a lot there, which is something as far as a movie fan and a game fan I actually really like. I don't like when you give away a whole lot of the story. Give me just enough to bite onto it to reel me in to give me the rest of it once you have me. But the story is laid out as such. You awake in a hospital room handcuffed to a bed. You hear some detectives speaking about you. They're talking about how they're surprised and that how you can still be alive after that terrifying event. One of them said it would be better if they caught you dead, and you don't understand and you don't remember much, but you learn first that the only thing you need to do right now is try to find a way to escape. The first question that comes to mind is if you're guilty or not. But it's much more beyond the guiltiness or the guiltlessness. You have been given a chance to face your past and how far you would go and sacrifice from yourself to enlighten the darkness and fight with your demons. The Dark Inside Me gameplay builds upon the decisions and sacrifices between the user and the events. Puzzles in this game may be solved more than one way, and each way will lead you to different ways and change the flow of the scenario. You can kill someone that is stopping you from your way by finding a tool to use, or you will find a way to pass him or her without killing them. And if you didn't kill them, that person could help you later on in the game to solve a puzzle, or can kill you and or make things harder for you when the time comes. So the game is a puzzle game, and the puzzles are very well put together. Like the creator said, you will find different ways to solve each puzzle. You may find items you need to combine to, say, pull a mirror out of the way of this naked sex demon so she doesn't see you, or simply just roll a yarn ball to distract her so you can get to your next objective.
Corridor. bedroom.
I personally died a lot in the alpha playthrough, but I did notice during the death cinematic you could pause the game frame by frame to see exactly what's happening to cause the situation to happen to help you further your thought process in order to solve the problem, which is very interesting to me. So once you die, there is no real game over situation. You die and then respawn seconds before you made the mistake that led you to the death. And the puzzles are, again, very well put together. They're either really, really hard, or so easy that I was overthinking them, or I'm just a complete and utter idiot. I've yet to determine between the three. And again, from reading the Patreon page, he does state that there are multiple ways to solve puzzles. The game is based off of your decisions as a player in the game, and each one of those will change the outcome of the game. Unfortunately, this is a very, very light alpha build that I was able to play. Neither one of those options were in the alpha build that I played, but if that's something that's really in the game, that is something that will make me want to come back to it even harder, because I love morality-based games. And the fact that it's billed as a psychological horror game, which, if you've known me for a while, Silent Hill is hands down one of my favorite horror games ever because of the psychological impacts the game has on you. Something that makes you think about the game after you turn the game off will make you want to play the game more. Put that in with the multiple, I'm assuming, endings for the dynamic scenario that the creator is trying to put in there, and the replayability for this game just goes out the roof. And that's something, again, worth hoping seeing this game is finished. It invites you to explore the darkest, I guess, recesses of the human psyche, and that's something really interesting to me. Sadly, it doesn't seem the game is going to be finished until they reach a certain milestone. The dollar amount they have on there for the finished product, to me, seems a little high. I'm not a game developer, I know a few game developers, but I don't know the actual dollar amount needed to work on a game, so I could be wrong in that aspect, and it could just be me looking at my own pocketbook and saying that's a big dollar amount. And the fact that I don't hear a whole lot about this game makes me wonder if they're going to be able to finish it, which I really hope they do, because just the amount of the story that I was able to access in the alpha build and the amount of the story that I've seen on the Patreon page and on the game's actual website makes me want more. The actual alpha that I have takes about 14-15 minutes if you know exactly what to do and how to get through it. It's just you go into a flat, solve 2 or 3 puzzles, exit the flat, the alpha is done. From that, I really wanted more. I wanted to keep playing and keep exploring this world that the developer has created. So from what I understand, the game, you wake up as an unknown person who you have no recollection of your past, you're just bound up in a hospital and need to escape. That goes from chapter 1 all the way to chapter 6, which is simply titled Hell. The description is, now you're there and it's time to face what you deserve, and then in bold red letters, definitely just for adults. And again, the creator does put a certain emphasis on the adult-oriented themes of gore, sex, and violence, and I didn't really see a whole lot of that in the alpha playthrough, but looking here in chapter 2, episode 2, Dead Girls Never Say No, I kind of do and don't want to see what that implies. Speaking of the dollar amount needed to finish the game, and again, I'm not a game developer, I'm just a YouTuber that reviews games and plays games for fun. Looking at the dollar amount he needs to finish the game, and then looking at the character models and the voice acting, I feel like, and again, this is an alpha build that I played, that's why I'm not hitting on this too terribly hard, it's just something to give you a taste of the actual gameplay. I would hope that some of that money goes into actually fleshing out the characters better, and hiring professional voice actors, or at least training for the voice actors that he has. The broken English doesn't kill me as much as the fact that the character, while he's whispering, his voice does take me out of the game a little bit. He's not putting that emphasis into his voice. He doesn't sound like he's in that situation. The dialogue is subpar at best. They're still working on it, and I do hope this game gets finished, because while I don't like point-and-click adventure games, and while this game was very frustrating to me, and I died so many times, I want more from the story. I want to see what the story is about. I want to see his themes come to life because they are very interesting to me. So you put the themes he has in place with the environments that they have, build upon the game more, fix your character models, and get some better voice talent, or at least train your voice talent better, and I do feel you've got a winner here. I'll be leaving a link to their Patreon page and the actual Dark Inside Me website down in the description. If it's something you'd like to check out those links. And if it's something that you are interested in helping out with, please help them out. Also, down in the description, you'll see a code for tblocks.com. It's the same code over on my Zero Rater page that you can pop into T-Blocks, get 15% off your first month subscription. That helps us out, that helps them out, you get cool swag, so definitely check that out. And if you like this review, give me a huge thumbs up. If you have something to say about the game or my review, leave it down in the comment section below. Definitely share this video around and subscribe if you guys haven't already. And again, thank you so much for listening to my sexy voice talk about this game, and I bid you adieu.
She's safe. Now I can leave this fucking flat.